Shabbat Shalom from Temple Concord. This week our Torah portion involves the end of Joseph's life and Jacob's life, and Jacob goes to bless his grandsons, Ephraim and Manasseh. And it's a fascinating piece. For me personally, it's interesting because I also have two sons. You can see a picture of them on the wall. And how Jacob deals with those two boys is a fascinating piece. Jacob, you'll remember, is the younger of two boys, of twins, and he ends up with a birthright. So number two ends up being in charge of number one. And he has all sorts of difficulties throughout his life because of the favoritism played by his parents and because of his own dealing with his role in the family. And one would think that by the end of his days he would have learned better, but wouldn't you know it, he gets the two boys on his lap, and instead of blessing the two of them as one would, older on one side, younger on the other side, he crosses his arms. And he does the opposite. And the younger boy gets the blessing for the older, and the older gets the blessing for the younger. It's as if Jacob had never learned the lessons of his earlier life. Now I can tell you, as the parent of two boys, that there are times when one says, "You're favoring me," and the other one says, "That's not fair. He's getting something I didn't get." And on and on and on and on. A good part of that's normal and healthy. But at the same time, we have to be honest. And there are different pieces of each of our children that we favor in different ways. And so I work really hard to try and balance the two out and spend time with each of them individually and so on. But I know that deep down, just as I felt with my older brother, that there are going to be moments when my boys look and say, "Dad, you're not being fair." And I can look back at Jacob and say to myself, Jacob from the Torah that is, not my Jacob, and say, you know, I've at least learned his lesson and I'm not being openly favoritist, which is to say that Jacob's lesson guides me even now. When I look at my Jakey or my Zach, I think to myself, these boys are both treasures and I have to treat both of them well. But they're different, and I have to honor each of their differences. And I think that's where Jacob in the Bible falls down. Jacob doesn't recognize that each child has their own gifts and that we have to bless each of them. So each Shabbat I actually bless my children with the blessing that Jacob does. May you be like Ephraim and Manasseh, two of our early leaders. And it's part of our regular Shabbat routine. And when I do it, I think about my boys and their age difference, and I think about my brother and my relationship and our age difference, and I think about how our families in the Torah still influence us today to do right and also to recognize the mistakes that we still make. Shabbat services this Friday evening will be at 6 o'clock. We're having our special General Tzapas, so right after Shabbat services, we will show the movie The Frisco Kid and enjoy a great Chinese dinner, including General Tso's chicken. If you haven't made a reservation, call the temple office ASAP and let us know that you'll be with us. Saturday morning, the usual schedule. We have text study at 9, Torah study at 10, and services at 11. In the coming week, things are a little quieter. It's the last week of the year. If you need an extra tax write-off, now is a great time to give to the temple. So feel free to be as generous as you can be. And next Shabbat, we'll celebrate with a champagne toast instead of our normal Kiddush wine with Manischewitz to celebrate the beginning of the new year. For now, though, I wish you a Shabbat of children and of blessing, and knowing the joy that Jacob knew of being able to bless his grandsons as he blessed his own sons, and see that his legacy would continue. When I sit down and bless my boys, it reminds me of why I do what I do. It's so that someday the world they inherit will be better than the world we have, and so that they'll be able to bless their children with more prosperity and more safety and more security and a better sense of who they are. Shabbat Shalom for now. Look forward to seeing you at the temple.